let's say we have a rotation. Let's say that's rotation of A. Okay, A degrees. And let's say we rotate further by B. Okay, actually, let's say like that. Let's say this angle right here is B. Then this whole thing is clearly A plus B, right? So what is the coordinate of that if this was a unit circle then? So this right here is, right, sine of A plus B, right? This length here. And this length here is cosine of A plus B. That's the coordinate. That coordinate right there. Okay, so let's continue to label. Okay, here. This will be then just angle A rotation, right? So it's going to be cosine of A and sine of A. So I'm trying to derive some kind of geometrical relationship between like the sum and the non-sum angles. So I have a non-sum angle here and there's a sum angle here. So we actually need one more. I'm going to rotate minus B degrees this way. So B looks like it's about over 90, so it'll be about here, okay? So that's minus B now. Minus B. So what will be that coordinate right there? That will be cosine of minus B and sine of minus B. Okay, so do you see that this chord of the circle, right, would have to be the same length of this chord of the circle, because they both have the same central angle, A plus B and A plus B. Okay, so let's get an expression for distance for line 1. Let's call this one line 1. Let's call this one line 2. Okay. So line 1 squared will be, by Pythagorean theorem, it's going to be this squared plus that squared, right? So sine A plus B squared, and this one here is going to be cosine of A plus B, right? And okay, let me do it this way. I want the distance. Okay, I want the distance from here to here, right? So this distance, this is a radius. It's 1. This is a negative value. So for example, if I have 4, 0, negative 1, do you add these two to get the distance, or do you subtract those two to get the distance?
Sure.
Minus cosine of A plus B squared. Okay, you have to understand that this right here is a negative quantity right now.
Oh, without.
Yeah.
Oh, without the sign, it's
This is negative right now.
Without the sign.
Now, for the line 2 squared, okay, so that's that height and this distance, right? So the height is going to be a sine of A. Again, it's going to be minus, right, of sine of minus B squared, right, plus cosine of A, which is this distance, minus this. So minus the negative value. Okay, now you square that. So I did all this because I want to make these two equal to each other, right? And look at the expressions I have. Line 1 I have sum, right? Line 2, do I have any sums? So I'm gonna get a nice equation. Okay, so the left side, if I expand, I get 1 minus 2 cosine A plus B plus cosine squared a plus b. Okay, here I get, on the right side, I get a sine squared a. You know that's going to be a minus of b, right? So minus of sine b. So it's just going to turn into plus. Okay, and expand that. That's gonna remain cosine of minus b is equal to cosine of b, right? From relative angles. So we can just replace that with b. So the minus stays there. Square a. Okay, it looks really ugly,
No.
but look, if I were to add this with this, I made a typo here. This is sine b. Anyway, those two equal to 1, but also this one and that one will equal to 1. Okay, and also here, this one and that one will also equal to 1. Alright, we get that, right? When you expand both sides, so that and that cancels out. Every one of them have 2 in the front. Let's get rid of them by dividing everything by -2. So we get this is actually a plus there. A cosine of a plus b then is a cosine a cosine of b minus a sine of a and sine of b. So this is the formula, the first formula. It's a cosine sum formula. Okay, so I would like a subtraction formula too. We can easily get a formula for a minus b. Here's how you get a minus b. Right? You can plug into this formula as a cosine of a plus minus b. So basically you replace the b with minus b, and what happens? That won't change at all, right? Cosine of minus b is still cosine of b. So we get a cosine of a, cosine of b. What happens to sine of minus b? By relative angles, that's going to turn into a minus of sine of b, right? So it becomes this. This is the subtraction formula for cosine. Alright, let's do an example.
45 and 30.
We know the special angle values for 45 and 30, and we know a formula which will turn a sum into the individual parts. Right, so we can say cosine of 75 is cosine of 45 plus 30. By the sum formula, we get a cosine of 45, a cosine of a 30, minus sine of 45, and sine of 30. Root 2 over 2, right? Root 3 over 2, root 2 over 2, half. So root 6 minus root 2 all over 4 is the exact value of cosine of 75.